And welcome to the Transform Your Relationship Show. I'm Laura Rubinstein here with the awesome and amazing Dr. Rhoberta Shaler. Hi, Rhoberta.
Hello, Laura, and welcome to 2021.
Yay, 2021.
Yeah,
I it's like what? We're already past the midway point of January. What happened?
I know, and we barely started to talk about 2021 last time, and here we are. So we've got some interesting pieces to add to the thinking mix.
So this show today we thought talk about living your most important values in this new reality. We are still in the pandemic. We've learned a lot potentially. I'm wondering if people have learned a little bit about themselves and what shifted over the last year that we can take into this year and really live more um, fulfilling lives even in this new reality.
Yes, did your life get more enriched? Did you develop more depth? Have you become more acquainted with yourself? Did you pay more attention to your environment and the home you're creating? What about the relationships at home? Did you deepen them? Have you taken those positive opportunities to say, these are the things that are important to me, and I am putting my time where my priorities are?
Or have you just spent your time resisting the reality and not making the most of this time and just saying, "Oh, screw it, I don't want to live like this." But I feel like, my challenge to myself was, and maybe a lot of people did this, was okay, I want to be safe. I want to honor other people, and I need to honor myself at the same time. How do I do that? What are my needs? And the best way to figure out what they are is to feel those angst feelings. It's like, oh, I need more nurturing of my soul. I need more connection with people. I need more. So how can I do that in a safe place, honoring myself and others, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting the answers that come up. And then even before getting there, I think what we want to talk about today is what are those things that are most important, that, human connection is really important. It's really, really challenging in these times. And we've got to get proactive, creative, and still, not limit ourselves while being safe. Like, how do we do that? You know, I want to
Well,
know if anybody here wants to sprinkle in some thoughts about that. How did they do that?
yeah, yeah, because we need all of the thought we can get on this subject to give people choices. Because I have certain restrictions regarding my health, I am staying home. It's just not an option for me to be out. Um, but on the upside of that is when I know I'm committed to staying home because I'm committed to staying healthy, then what do I get to do that I don't get to do when I go out? And how can I capitalize on that? So I looked at different things in my life, in my home, in my business, that by saying, okay, for the next 6 months, I'm going to be at home, how would I best capitalize on that? So when I can go out, I think, oh, I got all that piece really handled while I had that focus. Because as you say, if you're spending your time railing against, well, this isn't fair and this is terrible and I can't do this, and looking at all the limitation rather than all of the possibility, is that your value? Do you have a high value on maintaining your limitations? Or would you rather have a high value on what are my possibilities to enrich my life right now in these circumstances?
It's a little bit of a mental muscle that I see. It's like, yeah, I think that some people would say, yeah, I definitely am railing against this because I like to be comfortable and comfort is one of my values. So, but possibilities, yeah, that's okay. But what if we said, there are some things that you can have comfort, you can have the connection you want, you can have it. I found myself in this pandemic really, one of the things that's really important to me is connecting with people and family. And so, over the past few months, I've probably organized on average one family, larger family Zoom a month. We had Thanksgiving, we had the holidays, we've had birthdays, and all those things deserve acknowledgement. And what's interesting, I sit back and I said, nobody's inviting me to theirs. Why aren't they doing this? And part of me goes there for like 2 seconds, and then I get over myself, because it's like, that's not what they want.
Not
If I want
important to
something, I
them.
need to create it. If I want a
Yeah.
reality, I go create it. And if they want to play with me, great. The people who want to play are the right people who show up and who we can connect with, and we can play. And so they can invite me if they have that need, and I invite them when I have that need. So um, I really find that we can have our needs met because we have so much technology, we have so much options to us, and we can just create creative. We don't have to go to the gym to get exercise, and yet get a stunning exercise routine out in our backyards, in our living rooms, with other people or with a video.
Hmm.
We just have to get a little creative, people, instead of just resting and saying, oh, I don't like this, and having an excuse for the old unsafe or way of behavior. Like this is really forcing us to grow our it's a personal growth time if you really take advantage of it.
Yes, if you see it that way,
Hmm.
and then you can take advantage of it. If you want, in Richard Bach's book, Illusions, he said this: argue for your limitations and they're yours.
Exactly.
Well, if we're spending our energy arguing for the limitations, then we are keeping them in place. And if you free yourself to say, what are the possibilities? Where could I push the envelope? Where could I try something new? How could I have that need met in a different way? How can I express my values through a different medium, perhaps? Or maybe I can't be with family and friends, but as you say, you can create opportunities to talk with those people. Or maybe it's using the mail, to send someone a surprise that, just wakes up their moment and go, oh, I had no idea that kind of thing could happen. And that's kind of fun. Like, I sent somebody a gift the other day that I knew would really help them, but I didn't tell them it was coming. And they were just like, "Oh, that's really exciting." It was super, because then it broke the regular day to day. And we can do that same thing for ourselves. Like, I am really excited that today I get to go and drive and open the trunk and get the groceries put in there, because I haven't been out for 2 weeks for groceries. And so, you know, I now go, oh, I really don't have to go that frequently. I now understand that every 2 weeks I can get enough groceries. I was probably going for the break, this interaction, the being with people, and all of that. That's changed. And so I get excited about funny things, being able to put off going out in the car for 2 days because I'm going to the grocery store. You know, be open to these ideas, but you have to be comfortable in your own skin. And if that is your first goal, make it a priority. Because if you are waiting for affirmation and validation from other humans to do what you're doing or to live what your values are, and you need that outside reinforcement, you might want to stop and have a little look to say, don't I deserve to make up my life my way?
Hmm.
Why does somebody else have to approve of it? And that may be a good starting point if you find yourself living in the limitation, or limiting without living in limitation, just limiting your possibilities, and you might expand your mind a little further. Because if you have a value that involves other humans, you're going to have to be creative. But if you have a value that it is about expressing yourself in certain ways, and you're not doing it because you have a deficit somewhere else, like not being able to see people, or what's the point, you could then lose the opportunity to actually focus on something that maybe you don't have the time to do when you're so busy.
Yeah. I think a good place to start with figuring out where do you want to focus is saying what's important to me. What
Yeah.
is really important in my life? And you can create a list, and then you can look at that list and say, okay, if health is important, if family is important, if relationships are important, if entertainment, or exercise, whatever it is, then you can start asking those awesome questions you were just asking yourself, and see what's possible for you that you didn't consider in this new reality. And I love the challenge of the new reality for it, because I've been able to do some really creative things that I don't think I would have done had it not been for this new reality. I took on a whole new business of, and you just said of sending people things in the mail. I took on a business that does that. It's mailbox power cards, and it allows people to, from the comfort of their own home, send greetings and gifts out, right? And you can try it out here at Mailbox Power Cards. You can do so many. It's been just so creative for me. It's been a creative outlet. Like, who I would have not spent the time of day if we weren't home, trying to reorient ourselves within our values and our new lives. So I I just love it. And what new things have you guys tried out there? Let us know here, because you'll inspire somebody. You never know. And I love that you've gotten into microgreens and growing them, right? What else?
Well, because I've been super into my health, I have always been super into my health. But for example, I reached a place where no tweaks to my diet were allowing me to lose weight. And I wanted to lose weight and I needed to lose weight and I couldn't. 3 years of trying things like 8 months of keto and 12 months of raw. And, I tried everything to the extent, but I was able to drive down and find out there must be a way, there must be a way. That's how I found the How Not to Die program. And
Yeah.
so I've lost 19 pounds very healthily. And
Woo!
yeah, so I'm growing microgreens. Well, why would I? I've done it before. I've done sprouts and microgreens. I used to own a holistic health retreat center. I did all of that kind of stuff in the 90s. Did it my whole life, but I hadn't done it for a long time. Well, being pushed to the can I actually get enough fresh greens and things from going to the store frequently enough and keeping them alive and fresh? Well, I could grow them. I don't want to grow. I can't have a lot of soil around me. So what can I grow things in? Well, I can grow it in coconut coir, and I can grow these microgreens. So I have a harvest, but I also have a little hobby, like a little routine. I get up in the morning, make my coffee, go out and spray my microgreens, see how everything's going on. Um, but it's a way of taking care of myself, but it's also having a hobby, doing something a little different, having an extended focus. And so one of the things that I've done is reassess my entire house. How do I use my house? How does my house look? Um, I used to have a housekeeper. I couldn't have a housekeeper coming in. As it happened, she happened to move away just a couple of months before the pandemic, and I hadn't replaced her. But then getting acquainted with, all right, now it's up to me. How do I get a system that keeps my living environment in a way that I want to keep it, that I can, in fact, manage it? It's reassessing. Where's the value of that? Okay, it's going to take a half hour a day to think about that. And then you put the food program in, and I'm cooking at least 45 minutes a day. Um, how do I get into the habit of always, I'm a vegan, so and I don't have oil or sugar or salt. So how do I get in the habit of keeping the Instant Pot, always creating new kinds of beans and having things on hand so I can make any recipe? Here's another thing. All the Asian foods that I love, I have great recipes for them. How do I make those recipes into ones that fit my food program? And let's find out. So now, as I shared with you, there was a pad thai
Which
recipe,
was really good, by the
really
way.
good. Then another special thing that I really like is Thai sweet and sour. I found a recipe for that.
Ooh.
Night before last, I made cauliflower curry with chickpeas. Things that I think, oh, I could go to my favorite Thai restaurant. What would I order? Oh, I think I'll go make that. Right? And it's easy. It's
I know.
easy.
It's fun too. We just
Yeah.
found a recipe for, pot stickers with rice wrappers. And oh, actually, it wasn't with rice wrappers, but I said, we had these spring roll wrappers in our cupboard. I bet we could use them instead of, making our own flour based dumpling wrappers or buying dumpling wrappers. The rice paper worked amazing. And we did these sweet potato, cauliflower, um, broccoli, kale, dumplings, and you're not going to find that out there in the world anyway. It's so much
Mhm.
better at our house. So, we'll be having you over for dinner when the pandemic's over. We can make this show all about food, right?
Oh, we can because we're foodies.
We totally are, and that is one of our values, and it's one of our creative outlets. It's nourishing. It feeds our creativity, our and our health values. So what values can you bring to light in a fun way? Is the whole point of, I think, today's show is like you can have a really rich life even in this new reality, right? Even
Yeah.
it's just a matter of like tweaking your mindset to how can I versus I'm sick of this, right? How can I have this? And what is this? It's whatever your inner being craves, like as a not as a distraction like we've talked about in the past, not as a cover up band-aid, but as really what's going to fulfill and bring more of you out and to feel like you say expressed and whole in the world.
Yes. And to go back to something you said at the beginning of the show, we also want to keep that piece that says, am I doing the best for the world? I was very disturbed by watching some footage juxtaposed next to Los Angeles having the worst outbreak in the country and the hospitals being overrun was a photograph of all those people who couldn't bear not to go to the beach without a mask, walking within 2, 3 feet of each other, absolutely crowded on the beach. How can anybody look at those two images and statistics and not see they're at war with each other? So even if you are tired of being alone or you're tired of not going to the beach, the beach will be there in September. And it will be waiting for you and it'll be something to look forward to. But please think about other humans. The statistics show us that asymptomatic people are the greatest carriers of spreading. And you might think you are just fine, but would you please think beyond yourself that maybe you're fine, but you are offering the virus to somebody else who's thinking you're fine too? And that can be taken care of with a mask, social distancing, and a lot of hand washing. Would you just do that for the good of the world and all the people that you say you care about?
Like please. I look at people and I say thank you if they're wearing a mask or if they've moved out of the way for me.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not a divider; it is a uniter. If and it's all about how you look at it, you know. And I don't think anybody's saying, other than the people who are against it, it's a divider. But the people who are for it are for uniting, So, yes, let's unite. Let's focus on the value of health for all, not just health for, whatever, not even health. And if that's not a value of yours, I understand that. And we'll accept that. We're gonna be for you, no, though, anyway.
But also think about this that being able to delay your personal gratification is a mark of emotional maturity.
Mm.
And, yes, of course, I'd love to go and run. No, not run. I'd like to go to walk on the beach and I'd like to walk on the boardwalk and I'd like to sit next to somebody on a bench that I don't know and just talk freely to them. But that will happen. That will come. There will be time for that. But the emotional maturity is to say, not now. I'm going to delay that gratification and put my attention somewhere else that will allow me to enjoy this time, to maximize this time, to optimize this time. I can still do those other things later in my life. And that may be the fall. Maybe it will be. And maybe that seems like an eternity to you. But in the time you've been alive, another 9 months not going to make a whole lot of difference.
What can you birth in the next 9 months? That's
There you
very
go.
creative. That's, you do take time out to do things in the world. So take time out to focus on some of your most important values in a new way, in a way that aligns with the reality, with the health of the world. It's
Mm-hmm.
really at stake. The health of the world is at stake because when somebody catches this virus, they can have long lasting impact.
Mm-hmm.
There's one study I read that how the virus pokes holes in the brain. It makes it like Swiss cheese. That's why you have brain fog. It lasts a long time.
And think what it does to your lungs. And lung things can be very slow developing, but they get worse over time. They don't get better. And so, because you don't know they're there, you
Right.
don't know they're there, and then all of a sudden it shows up. Care enough about yourself to think about the long term aspects of what your choices are in this moment, and have that emotional maturity to say, I can delay my gratification. Those people that were interviewed on the television and airports over Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I heard one young woman, it appeared to be in her 20s, I just can't stand another moment without seeing my family. Yes, you can, honey. I understand you don't want to, but yes, you can. You really can.
If you knew
And
their life and yours was at stake, I think you can,
I
right?
think you can. And, extend your thinking to the possibility that I can delay my gratification and I can use the energy in this moment to learn or do something that could expand and enrich my life.
Yeah, yeah. And we're here for you. If you're struggling with, the ability to get creative in that or struggling with a relationship, Roberta, for relationship help, you have a ton of resources. You'll keep people entertained morning, noon, and night with really rich, very empowering content for anyone who's dealing with chronically difficult people. I know you do that like in your sleep, and you're so passionate and you're so good about it. And if you need some creative brainstorming, whether it's in your marketing or in your life, I'm here for you at transformtoday.com.
Yep, we are available, and you can also interact with us in the comments wherever you're watching this, and we will see it. So be sure to put our name in there, and we will pay attention to you.
Yeah.
And I hope that you have had some creative thoughts to enrich your life while you have this luxury of time. See it that way. If you are ever thinking, oh, if I only had 9 months to go traveling around the world and do something completely different, well, take these 9 months to go traveling around your inner world and see something completely different.
You could plan your 9 month trip so detailed that when the 9 months are up, you'll be able to take it and have like the best time ever.
Yeah, or you could use the 9 months for an internal journey that could last you a lifetime.
Or both.
Yeah.
There's enough time at the month. There is always enough time. So, and we love inspiring you. Thank you so much, Roberta, for another episode of our Transform Your Relationships Live. Keep everyone safe by staying home. Okay.
Yes, please. Thanks, Laura. Talk
Please.
soon.
Okay. Bye.